Assalamu alaikum dear students. Let's move further into the topic mechanical properties of fluid. In the last lecture we had studied about the atmospheric pressure and how it is calculated. Now let us study further more into the topic. Our next topic is hydrostatic paradox. What is hydrostatic? You all are aware of it. Hydrostatic is nothing but the study of fluid in a rest. And paradox is contradiction. Let's see what does it indicates. Here what we have to do, in the last lecture we have already seen that formula for the pressure exerted by any liquid is force per unit area. From this equation, we will come to know that pressure and area both are inversely proportional to each other. Greater the base area of the container, smaller will be the pressure exerted by a liquid. Or vice versa. Smaller the area, greater is the pressure exerted by a liquid. That's first thing we should remember before studying this paradox. Second thing, there is one more formula of a pressure exerted by a liquid is H rho G, where H is height of a liquid column, rho is density of a liquid or fluid, G is acceleration due to gravity. If you have taken only one type of liquid, then density will be constant. Gravitational acceleration for one particular place is also constant at that place. The only variable over here is H, height of a liquid column. Greater the height, greater would be the pressure. These two things we should have to keep it in mind, that smaller the area, greater is the pressure, greater the height, greater is the pressure exerted by a liquid. Now let us consider few types of different shape of container we have taken. These container are interconnected. See here, container A, container B, container C and container D. These containers are internally connected with each other, and this entire container from the side of A is filled with a liquid. So whenever it is filled with a liquid, when you start filling it with a fluid or with a liquid, generally we will say fluid as a liquid. So when you start filling it with a liquid, you will see that after a state of equilibrium, the fluid will equally move into the each container A, B, C and D. So their base area, just see the base area of these container. Base area of container A is this. Base area of container B is this. Base area of container C, it is very small. Base area of container C and D are very small. So as per our equations, we should know that the smaller the base area, smaller would be the pressure. So pressure in a vessel C and in a vessel D will be smaller is a base area, greater would be the pressure. Sorry for this, greater would be the pressure. So smaller the area of C and smaller the area of D, greater would be the pressure at the base. And see the base area of a container B. It is large as compared to these two things, as compared to C. Base area of B is large as compared to the base area of C. So pressure at the base of the container B will be small as per this equation. So for small pressure there will be a small rise in a liquid. Height will be small because the pressure is small. And for for greater pressure there will be a large amount of rise in a liquid. As greater the pressure, greater would be the height. So according to these two equations, the rise of a liquid level in each container will be different. It should have to be different according to these two equations. But what you will see after the state of equilibrium, once the entire liquid is filled in this container, you will see the level of the liquid rise. Each container will have a same level. So it is a contradiction to these two equations. What do you say about this contradiction? Whether these two equations are wrong, or whether this container is filled wrongly. No, it is not like this. Everything is correct, provided that the condition is, we have taken the condition over here is the equilibrium of a liquid level. So it is contradicting these two equations. According to these two equations, see, the base area of C is very small. Here the pressure will be higher, and base area of B is very large. Here the pressure will be smaller. So what should happen over here? The liquid from the higher pressure should flow into the liquid into the lower pressure area. But it does not seen over here. This is the contradiction which we have seen over here. It is actually not a contradiction. Let us consider the example over here. There will be a different pressure, but the rise of a liquid level as it is in a state of equilibrium. So see, here we have taken one container, and this container is divided into three sections. Middle section is called B, and left and right sections are called as A, because both are similar. So what we will do over here, let us apply the forces which are perpendicular to the wall of this container. What will happen when you apply the forces which are perpendicular to the wall? See, each and every force is perpendicular to the wall of this container. So whenever you take a plastic glass, fill it with water and press its wall, you will see there will be a rise in a liquid level. What is the reason behind it? Why there is a rise in a liquid level when you press this wall of a container? The reason is, see, each and every forces are perpendicular to the wall of the container. And when you resolve it into two components, when these forces are resolved into two components, let us consider one force. And once it is resolved into two parts, obviously it has to be resolved, because the wall of the container is neither along the x-axis nor along the y-axis. So if this force is to be resolved into two parts, you will be getting two components, F cos theta. You all are already aware of this resolution, and F sin theta. So you will see that this F sin theta, the component of the applied force, which is vertical over here. Horizontal component does not mean anything. Here the vertical component of a liquid, F sin theta, is directed along the vertical line inside the container. It means that because of these forces, the vertical component will act to the liquid, and this vertical component will force the liquid to increase the height of a liquid level. Obviously the height of a liquid level increases when you compress it. And why does it happen? because pressure at the base, see the pressure or the force at the base, it will be maximum at the base of the container because it is having a smallest area. So rise and fall of a liquid level will only be observed when you apply the forces on the shape of the container. Here we have taken the liquid in a state of equilibrium. So in the state of equilibrium, every part of the container is filled with the same height. There is not any pressure difference. Here there is a pressure difference and there is a rise in a liquid. So when to achieve a different height in a different container, you'll have to apply the pressure differences over here. But here in each part of the container, pressure will be same because the liquid is in equilibrium. This is called as hydrostatics paradox. And we after this example, we will come to know that there is no longer paradox. Once you apply the pressure difference on the container, you will see the liquid is exactly working on these equations. Now let us move further into our topic. Next topic is Pascal's law, which is also very simple to understand. Suppose you have taken one toothpaste and it is having more than one opening which are of different size. When you apply the pressure to the base of the toothpaste, you will see that the liquid will flow out from all the opening. What does it mean? According to the Pascal's law, it states that the pressure applied at any point of an enclosed fluid at rest is transmitted equally. Means there is an equal transmission of a pressure and undiminished to every point. Means each and every point of a liquid will have the same pressure and undiminished to every point of the fluid and also on the wall of the container, provided that the effect of gravity is neglected over here. Here we will have to avoid the effect of gravity. We don't have to consider the force of gravity because we are already applying the pressure which is very large. So if you take a fluid in any container which is having more than one opening, now just see here in this diagram, here we have taken one container and is having more than one opening. So when you apply the pressure from one side, from any side, you will see that each and every opening will have the ejected fluid in it. So according to the Pascal's law, we will observe it obviously. So according to the Pascal's law, this is called as Pascal's law. Means each and every point you have applied the pressure, so this pressure is transmitted to each and every point of a fluid or each and every opening of the fluid equally. And each point inside a liquid will have the same pressure. Obviously we are going to have a proof of it. We will see the proof of Pascal's law, then we are going to accept this statement. So according to Pascal, the pressure applied at any point of an enclosed fluid at rest is transmitted equally and undiminished to every point of the fluid and also on the wall of the container, provided that the effect of gravity is neglected. Means pressure applied to any fluid is transmitted equally. It is the meaning of this statement. So let us see whether this statement is correct or not. Means whether each and every point in a fluid will have the same pressure or not once you apply the pressure at one point, you will have to check the pressure of the different point in a fluid. So here we have taken one container. It is having 4 opening A, opening B, opening C and opening D. Just see the area of this opening. Area of the opening A is small a. Let small a be the area of the opening A. Similarly, you can see that in the diagram that opening of B is greater as compared to A. So let's say it is 2A. Suppose the opening area of this B is twice that of A. Similarly, see the opening of C. It is having the area 3A greater than B. And see the last opening, it is D. It is having the area half to that of A. It is smaller than A, as you can see in the diagram. And each of these opening is fitted with watertight frictionless pistons. Means here one cork is placed and that is watertight. Since we are treating the fluid, we are studying the fluid, so here we will say that each of this piston is watertight and frictionless. Watertight means just like airtight only, but here we have taken fluid, so that is why we will use the word watertight. So every point opening is fitted with the pistons which are watertight and frictionless. So this orange color lines indicate the position of the piston. So these are the respective areas over here. Let us see what we will have to do according to the Pascal. Obviously, we will have to apply the pressure at one point of this fluid container. So let us apply the force of amount F. Let us press the opening A. Let us press the pistons in a downward direction. See the direction of force we have already shown over here. F amount of force is applied to the opening A. So what will happen? We all know that this liquid, from the properties of a liquid, we all know that the liquid is incompressible. You cannot compress it. If you try to compress it, it will flow into another direction. So when you apply the compressive force to the opening A, you will see that the piston B, C and D will move outward. All this piston will slightly move outward. It depends on the amount of pressure applied over here. It means what? The force applied over here will equally push all the piston in outward direction. Now what we will have to do, if you want to restore the position of this piston, you will have to apply the forces to this piston. If you want to restore, you want that the piston B should not move, so you'll have to keep it, you'll have to hold it. And for this holding, you'll have to apply the force. So for each opening, if you want to restore these opening at their original position, we will have to apply the forces to this opening. What amount of forces should be applied? Since the area of B is double to that of the area of A, so the amount of force applied to the piston B in order to restore it is in its original position will be twice to that of A. Similarly, force applied to the piston C its area is 3 times, so the force applied over here is 3 times to that of A. Similarly, for the opening D, force applied is, in order to restore it in its original position, you'll have to apply the force, and that force, see the area of the D, it is half to that of A, so the force applied will be F by 2. So the forces applied to the different opening we have taken. This is for point A, B, C and D. These are their areas. Forces applied over here is F. Forces applied on B is 2F. Forces applied on C is 3F. Forces applied on D is F by 2 respectively. Now let us calculate the pressure at A, B and C. Pressure at the point A is, formula for the pressure is F upon A. So FA we will write an area of opening A. So forces on A is F divided by area is A. Equation 1. For point B, formula for the pressure is again force per unit area. So we will write FB upon area. So force on B is twice F. Area is twice to that of A. 2 will get cancelled. You are going to get it as F upon A. Give this one as equation number 2. Similarly, let's calculate the force pressure at point C. It is having the formula FC upon A, force at point C divided by area. So force at point C is 3 times to that of A and area is 3A. 3 will get cancelled. You are going to get it as F upon A. Give this one as equation number 3. And the last one for point D, pressure at point D is, it is FD upon A. Force at D is, it is half to that of A. So F by 2 and area is A by 2. 2 will get cancelled. You are going to get it is as F upon A. Equation number 4. What does it means? Here we have taken different areas, different opening of different areas. But just see the equation 1, equation 2, equation 3 and equation 4. Compare these pressures. F upon A, F upon A, F upon A and F upon A. It means that all the points are having the same pressure to that of A. See, which we have applied. This is the proof of Pascal's law, which states that pressure applied to any point of an enclosed liquid, it will transmit it equally and undiminished to every point of the fluid and also on the wall of the container. Even if you consider any midpoint which is not there at any opening, you will have the same pressure of the fluid. So we have got this proof which we have seen over here. Pascal's law is very important. In the next lecture we are going to study the application of this law, how it is to be applied. Before that, let us revise the statement, which is very simple. Pressure applied to any point of an enclosed liquid must be enclosed fluid, you must say. So pressure applied to any point of an enclosed fluid is, that pressure is transmitted equally to each and every point and undiminished to each and every point of the fluid and also to the wall of the container, provided that the effect of gravity is neglected. Here we have not considered any gravitational force. So let's stop here. Hope you will have understood the topic. In the next lecture, we are going to study about the application, how you can apply the Pascal's law in your daily life. How we are, you might have seen hydraulic lift and hydraulic brake. They both are working on the Pascal's law. So in the next video lecture, we are going to study these two application of Pascal's law. So which is very simple. Go on revising the statement of the Pascal's law. If you applied the pressure at any point, it will transmit it equally and undiminished to every point of the liquid as well as to the wall of container. Here we have completed the statement, and here we have seen the proof also. Next lecture we are going to study these two application of the Pascal's law. Let's stop here. Thank you.